Hi everybody, welcome back. Another technical demo around the Quarkus application. In this video, showcase how to deploy Microsweeper Quarkus application on Red Hat OpenShift service on AWS, also known as ROSA. Let's get started. Here is the demo architecture, what we want to do today. So first of all, we're going to run Quarkus application on your local machine, and then it will allow you make sure every functions are working on your local machine. As an example, dev environment, you're going to use Amazon DynamoDB client, which is one of the Quarkus extension that allows developer to store your key value document data on your file system. And then once we confirm the application functionality on your local machine, we're going to deploy this Quarkus application into Red Hat OpenShift on top of the AWS based on Quarkus extension, which is OpenShift extension. And then in production environment, we will connect to one of the existing Amazon DynamoDB, which provide NoSQL database capability. And the last thing is we're going to integrate Amazon Simple Email Services, also known as SES, because in production environment, you probably need to stand up mail services whenever you got some important events happens. So in that case, you don't need to install separate email service on the cloud because Amazon already provided Amazon SES, and then Quarkus actually provide another extension to integrate pretty quickly to have Amazon simple email service. Here is a public repository to showcase all application code and then the demo architecture, as you can see. So when you go to this Git repository, you can find the table content, as I already mentioned earlier, the 3-step, how to go through step by step this demo, and this architecture. And when you click on the table content, you can go through the each step. So I'm gonna go through this all kind of step really fast. Here's actually I already cloned this Git repository and open my IDE tool like a VS Code. And when you go to POM XML, as you can see, the race of Quarkus version 2.7.5, and then there's a bunch of dependency here. The interesting part here is we already have Amazon services BOM, which is a part of Quarkus extension. There are DynamoDB extension, as you can see here. And then there are two another extension, the URL connection client and the Netty non-block IO client, because the Quarkus extension, DynamoDB client extension actually provides two programming model. One of the blocking access using URL connection based on HTTP client, which is a default, and the other one is synchronized programming based on non-IO blocking, like a React Web application programming. That's why I just added two extension, but you can actually select one of them. And then here is the REST is reactive to export the RESTful API based on React Web programming. All right, so this is the model, actually document model Java Beans score, and then the register for reflection annotation, which register this Java class for neighbor compilation. So in this demo, I'm not going to go through neighbor compilation, which it makes some time. Just consider about your neighbor compilation at the end. So here's a for document the key and name label, time and success. And then we're going to add constructor here. And then here's the RESTful API resources here. As you can see, the API slash scoreboard. This is a RESTful endpoint. The first step, we will replace this stuff, the third step. So here's the injection, the CDI being this implement the business layer, the scoreboard services. And the two methods here, the list all your score documentation. And then the other one is add a new scoreboard. And then when you go to the service business layer CDI bean, here's a very specific injection DynamoDB client, which allows Java developer to easily integrate your DynamoDB connection business logic from your Quarkus application based on Java implementation. So one thing is, I actually separate business layer services, but also some kind of helper to wrapping actual communication with the DynamoDB and abstract service. That's why I extended that abstract service here. When you go to abstract service Java file, you can find all Amazon SDK method and the implementation logic here. For example, how to put request to store your new document score data and also retrieve the specific data here. And here's the application property, and the one interesting part for developer, for Quarkus actually provide the prefix or define key and value. For example, %dev prefix only available and or a while during Quarkus demo. So when you run the Quarkus demo, we're going to use that one thing here. So the first of all, as we specify DynamoDB on locally, we're going to run DynamoDB on my local machine. There are multiple ways you can actually install DynamoDB using in the Java jar. And then I'm going to use the container environment. So just run docker run. And then here the DynamoDB image, and then you can specify in memory option rather than store the data in your local file system. All right, and then back to the web browser, and then your local DynamoDB will provide a web shell which allows developer retrieve data and then insert table and a lot of interesting part like the MySQL client program stuff. Okay, when you access the shell, you can see welcome the DynamoDB web shell is for only local machine. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my terminal window and try to run the AWS DynamoDB command line tools and it's just service table, because when I run DynamoDB using container, that's just empty database. There's no tables. So just to make sure thing, when you execute the command line, there's no table. So I'm gonna add some script here, the table name score, and I want to attribute name, and then I just hit it, and then you can find the table just ready for me, and then just rerun that CLI, and then now we have a one table here just score. Okay, so go back to terminal, and then we're gonna run Quarkus step mode to run this Microsweeper game application. Okay, once Quarkus is running, and then you can see you can press W and it will automatically stand up the landing page to localhost 8080 by default. And then you can see the Microsweeper application here. This game, if you have some experience to use Windows system like back in 1996 or early 2000, maybe this is a Minesweeper game pretty familiar, just like me. Let's try to play some stuff. And then when you click on README, it will go to our Git repo README file. And then click on source code, and then it will go to our source code Git repository as well. Okay, so go back to Mine game, and then let's try to play some more stuff. And then the first player is Splash, and then second player Spiral, and the last player is Luck. And I'm not good at actually to mine the gaming. Okay, I gotta try to 3 times. Okay, here is to access the endpoint RESTful API, and then you can same result and your leaderboard on your mine game GUI. And you can also actually retrieve the data from the local DynamoDB using web shell, just to make sure the data has consistency here. So you hit the shell, and you can have the same items from your DynamoDB local, Splash, and Spiral, and the last is the Luck. The all 3 players and score are here. I'm going to stop my Quarkus demo and move to the second step to deploy this application to OpenShift. But for that, when you go to Amazon Web Console, there are DynamoDB dashboard here. And then as you can see, when you click on tables, there's no table at this moment. You could actually create the table from AWS command line, just like this one. But I'm not going to try to command line because I'm going to try to create a table on the web console. The table name score, and a partition key like a name, and just create table. It will takes up like a few minutes or maybe a couple of minutes to complete. In the meantime, here's my OpenShift cluster running on AWS Cloud. And then here is my empty project, Microsweeper, there's a Quarkus, and then no pod at this moment. And then let's try to deploy my Quarkus application in this namespace. To do that, I need to log in the right cluster, and then my name and then my super password, and then I can get token to log in from my terminal window. I just paste it here, and then it allows me access the right cluster on top of the AWS cloud. And then I'm gonna add a new Quarkus extension OpenShift, which allows me to add more configuration to deploy and packaging, containerize, etc. When you go back to XML, you can find the new Quarkus-OpenShift extension. Just edit it in your application. Okay, so move it to the application property file, and then just make sure every configuration around AWS DynamoDB on your production environment. And for example, here's a reason is to 2, and then here's the most important part is you're gonna specify your credential, AWS credential, with the access key ID and the secret access key. You need to replace this one. I'm not going to show you my super access key and a secret password. And then here to make sure I just create my table of the same region, like a US is 2 region. Here's the OpenShift configuration. So for example, I'm gonna use the Cyber certificate for TLS termination. I'm gonna deploy in the Kubernetes cluster and the target environment OpenShift. And then the Docker strategy to build a container image and then automatically create a router to access to your web application by external. Let's try to build this application using Quarkus CLI, Quarkus build. I'm going to skip the unit test at this moment. And it takes maybe a few minutes to complete all build and packaging based on Docker file. I'm going to make it fast and just save my demo time. And then at the end of the build, you will end up with a build success message on your Quarkus CLI. And then go back to topology view on OpenShift developer console. You can find the new Quarkus pod just starting. And then when you go to Quarkus runtime logs, and it will showcase the JVM mode, and it takes a 1.2 seconds for starting up. And then here is the install dependency, which is the enterprise feature. Okay, go back to topology view. Just try to click on open URL to access the Microsweeper. Try to do several times to play with my game. And then I got 3 player, just like you see, Obsidian and a Dot and a Fresnel. Okay, looks good. Even though I didn't have a good point here. Okay, I just copy route URL. I just access the endpoint like RESTful API. Then try to switch the terminal window, and then HTTP PI, and then access point and API scoreboard. And it will return the same items just like we saw in the WebUI application. Okay, so here's a table. You can actually explore the table item just like we did using local web shell on the DynamoDB. As you can see, you have 3 items like Obsidian and then Dot and then Fresnel. Exactly the same. So last step, as I already mentioned earlier, sometimes you need to send out specific information to stakeholder like your team leader or co-developers or IT ops team whenever you got some kind of important event when you keep running your application in production environment. To do that, one of the best practice is you need to spin up your email server or SMS server. Luckily, the Amazon Cloud already provide the simple email services, also known as SES. The problem is for developer, they need to figure it out and learn how to use the AWS SDK or API and a lot of stuff to catch up. Quarkus actually provide the AWS client, SES client extension, which allows developer to send the email content pretty easily. So first of all, I'm gonna add a new email credential and identity and verify it, you can actually use AWS command line like AWS SES and verify your email address for sender and the recipient. So what I already done, and then when you go back to AWS console and the SES service, and you can find the verified email address. So during the verification, you will receive the verification email from Amazon, and then when you go to the inbox and click on the complete the verification, and after that you will find the status with the verified like a green color format. Let's go back to our the project. And then we're gonna uncomment and then actually edit this SES configuration. The same region, US is the 2, and then you can actually set up same access key ID and security access key for SES. Previously, we're gonna do the same values for DynamoDB, but this is for SES. I'm not gonna showcase my super secret key and secret. And here is our Amazon SES extension. And then lastly, we're gonna uncomment encrypt. I already actually implement that thing. I'm gonna showcase, and here is the my email from address from and to from my Daniel O test Gmail and then to my Red Hat email address. Okay, here's the increase method. How do we create mail subject and body? Specify from and to for email. And then here the subject with the score player name, and then like you've got a new score in the Microsweeper. And the body is like a congratulations, like a Daniel O is you just complete the Microsweeper with your level like a medium, high, or low, something like that. Okay, it's done. Let's go back to terminal window and rebuild and recompile using Quarkus CLI. So I'm going to make it fast to build this stuff. Then you just finish that. When you go back to OpenShift developer console, let's try to open Minesweeper application UI, and then you can see we have the same result because the DynamoDB is already existing there. So we have the same the readerboard and the prayers, all that are still existing and without any change, even though we keep deploying the new application and restart the application part on OpenShift. This is one of the benefits. You can bring your Quarkus application to OpenShift, and you can easily connect to external your services on AWS like DynamoDB and SES service and more on that. Okay, let's try it one more time. Play the find the mine, and then we're gonna use new player like a quote, and then I just try to make a best. Okay, I gotta hit the mine and the quote is a new player. Just a reminder that. And then when you go back to topology view and the runtime logs, and you can find here quote. Heron is a new receiver. When you go back to Amazon SES dashboard, and then you can find actually account dashboard, and then there are mail usage. For example, change the range to 1 day, and it will refresh, and you're gonna find another email. Just send it to me, and then go back to my Gmail inbox. I got a one email from Daniel Test. Mail subject the player name quote, and then you've got new score, and then the body is congrats, and then quote is complete Microsweeper with the medium level. Just a quick summary. So today I'm going to showcase this demo, what kind of value and benefit you can earn for developer standpoint when you deploy Quarkus application on Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. Main differences between general OpenShift and the ROSA, you can actually easily integrate existing AWS services such as DynamoDB and the mail services or SQS or even Amazon Lambda. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of the day.